Java junkies, get your fix today on Call for Help.
I hope these people can help me with my computer. Oh. No! A technician will be with you in 4 hours. 4 hours?
You can upgrade for just $5,000.
What?
The Universal Serial Config Board should be set to ID 6.
I need that in plain English. Help!
Leo Laporte at Call for Help. May I help you? Hey, how are you? Good to see you. Welcome to the show. Today's show brought to you by espresso-covered chocolate beans. No, I'm just kidding. Welcome to Call for Help. Leo Laporte here. This is the show where we help you with your caffeine addiction and your technology. If you've got a computer, a cell phone, a PDA, home theater, anything with a chip in it, that's what we cover here on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce my peppy co-hosts, Andy Walker and Amber MacArthur.
Hi, Leo.
You've been eating these, haven't you?
Yeah, I had a few of them.
Chocolate-covered espresso beans.
They're tasty.
They're so good.
Yeah, so you're both kind of...
yeah.
I'm holding onto the
right now.
table pretty much right now.
Well, that's appropriate because you're going to cover coffee today.
Yeah, I'm going to actually tell people about a site that they go to find out everything they would ever want to know about coffee. Yeah,
Really?
it's one of my new favorite sites.
Now, did you drink coffee? I thought you were a tea drinker.
You know what? I drink a lot of coffee, like
do?
probably 4 or 5 cups a day, I would say.
Andy's just saying yes. She
Yeah,
does.
I know. I have a bit of an addiction.
I gave up coffee.
That's
I do
smart.
drink a lot of tea.
I'm
though.
sorry.
I love tea, though.
Do you love tea?
Tea is a more, I think you'll find,
It's a very
more
refined.
subtle drink.
It's a really
Yeah.
With much of the same pleasures that coffee affords for a subtler, more distinguished palate.
Doesn't make you go in the back of your
Yeah, it
throat?
does make you go, that's
Yeah.
the only thing wrong with it. What are you going to be doing, Andy, besides going...
What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to add gigabytes and gigabytes of storage to your home network. How exciting is that? You've been waiting all day, haven't you? Yes, you have.
You're having
I'm
another
excited.
coffee.
Exactly.
Julie Stoiker, our craft lady, is also here. She's going to show you how to make a mobile for your baby's crib. You know,
Yeah.
they say that studies show that children, with little babies that makes them smarter and dizzy to watch those things. And they have the black and white ones and the whole thing. We did that with kids. Did you have a mobile when you were a baby above your bed?
You know what? I don't think so.
You
I don't
wind it
remember
up
when.
and it goes twinkle,
Yeah.
twinkle.
No.
I know you did, Andy. I could tell.
Mine
Your
played-
head's still going
Mine
on.
played AC/DC.
Are you ready to rock? Somehow
He wishes he was born then.
Yeah. Oh. Whoa. Hey, let's say hello to 2 of our viewers. We're getting more and more pictures, and I thank you for sending them in. This is Matthew. We don't know who he's with at the Eiffel Tower. Do you not have a name for her?
No, he didn't send her name. It's a friend of his at the Eiffel Tower.
Okay, well, let's just say it's Matthew at the
Yeah.
Eiffel. No, that's not.
Maybe it's an French girl that he met.
She's a little French woman
Could be,
who
yeah.
is escorted him up to the top of the tower. Oh, that's neat.
Mikey said he'd try to find out who she is.
Yeah, Mikey likes her. That's why. I'm gonna be there in a couple of weeks.
Really?
Going to Paris.
cool.
Yeah,
What are you
just a
gonna do
family
that for?
vacation.
Nice.
Can't wait. Yeah,
Oh,
we're staying
that's
in
great.
Fontainebleau.
Can you bring me some French coffee?
Yeah, yes. I'll
all
bring a
we
cup
need.
back for you. Here's your little teeny demi-tasse. Hey, let's get our first caller today.
All right, we have Craig on the line from Hamilton, Ontario.
Hello, Craig. How are you?
Leo, it's great to talk to you.
Wonderful to talk to you. Thank you so much for calling us today.
I'm glad to be here.
What can we do to help you with your computer conundrum?
Well, it's kind of MP3 player related.
Okay.
Okay, I have an MP3 player. It's an RCA Lyra.
Oh, the Lyra? Okay.
However you
You know,
pronounce
I
it.
don't know how you say it. Is it Lyra?
Lyra.
And why do you say that, Andy?
Because that's what the RCA people said.
Then it
It's
must
called.
be. I never knew, so I'm glad we now have the definitive answer.
Well, that's great. That's my first problem.
There we go. You see?
Solved.
Thanks for calling. We'll see you later. Oh, no, you got... Okay, what else?
No, it says right on the it's just a 256 megabyte unit.
Yeah.
It says right on the package that it's USB 2.0 compatible.
Okay.
And I know I have USB 2.0 on my machine because I have an external hard drive that I use, and it's lightning fast.
Yes,
So we know
yes.
that's working.
Okay.
But it's not. This thing isn't allowing me to transfer the files at that speed. And
Is
for
it?
instance, when I download your KFI Talk Radio show from your Leoville.tv, they're about 11 megs each. And it takes about 20 seconds to get them into my MP3 player once they're downloaded.
20 seconds, 11 megs. Yeah, you're talking more like USB 1 speed, aren't you?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Now, here's a Lyra. Now, do you have a solid-state Lyra or a hard drive-based Lyra?
It's solid state.
Ah, therein may lie the tale.
Oh?
This is a Lyra, as a matter of fact, that Andy just gave me. I think it's his. Somebody's been
No,
using
it's actually it belongs to Ed in the mailroom.
Ed's Lyra in the mailroom.
Yeah.
So Now, USB 2 compatible doesn't necessarily mean it is a USB 2 device, first of all.
Okay.
So that'd be the first thing I'd say is it a USB 2 device? USB 2 is capable of a top speed of 480 megabits per second. So that means it could do, we'll divide that by 8, that's about 60 megabytes a second. Now, I could tell you right now, you're not going to get that kind of throughput. Frankly, you're not going to get it on anything, but you're certainly not going to get it on a device like this.
Okay.
USB 1.1 did about 1.5 megabytes a second, and that's roughly what you just described to me.
Yeah.
None of these, by the way, even Ethernet or FireWire, none of this stuff operates at its top rated speed. That's just its nominal speed. Usually you're talking 60, 70% of that for the actual speed of the bus. So there's a couple of things. The other thing is make sure that you plug it into a USB either directly into the USB 2 connector on your computer or a USB 2 compatible hub. You're not using a USB 1.1 hub, I would hope.
No, it's going right into the motherboard.
Okay, good. All right. So then we know it's on a USB 2 connector. And the reason I say that is if you put a USB 1 hub on a USB 2 device, it'll step down to 1.1.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But now, which model number do you have?
It's the, oh, geez, I don't have it in front of me. It's 1702 or something.
Okay. It's a 1000 series. That's what I wanted to check. Now, it does say it has USB 2 connectivity. So that would mean that it is more than compatible. Every USB 1 device is compatible with USB 2 and vice versa. It's the same exact connectors and cables and all of that stuff. Really, the only difference is the speed. And so this is asserting that it will have that speed. I have to say that it's probably just the speed of the flash memory that's what's really slow.
Okay.
You can get flash memory that's almost as fast as a hard drive. They're coming out now with what they call 40X or high-speed compact flash, for instance, that can do 15 megabytes a second. But obviously, that's not as fast as you're getting. It isn't even as fast as USB 2 can be. But it would still be, I think you'd be happy with 15 megabytes a second. That means that song that's taking 20 seconds would take less than 1 second right now.
Well, I mean, it's not a huge problem. I mean, it only takes a few seconds to get whatever, or maybe a minute to get an entire album in. Yeah. But I just thought I did contact RCA, and I didn't hear back from them. Mind you, it was they wanted my zip code and my state, which I don't have. From them.
You'll hear from them. Don't worry. You just start getting junk mail any minute now. I would guess that in general, when they make these, they're not going to put that super fast flash memory in there.
Yeah.
They're going to put generic flash memory, and that's much more like that speed. In fact, the earliest USB 2.0 thumb drives were no faster because they were using standard flash memory that wasn't any faster. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you got a faster connection. But also, how fast can we read and write to this flash memory? It's not as fast as a hard drive, and in some cases, it's considerably slower.
True.
So I think that's probably what it is. Now, I think as time goes by, more and more of these are going to start. This high-speed RAM, the flash RAM, is getting cheaper and cheaper. You're going to start to see that in there, and you'll see. You know, I have the iPod Shuffle here. This is also USB 2.0, and it is considerably faster. With the 2.0 connector. Mm-hmm. So they're putting faster memory in, and still not as fast as a hard drive would be, but that's the key.
Okay, great. Well,
I think that's what's going on.
I do download your KFI talk show, and I put it in there, and I do that. I listen to that while I exercise every day. So.
Isn't that a neat idea? Now, what software do you use for your podcast to get the podcast?
I just download it, and I just drag it straight into my onto my desktop and then MP3 player. That's
what I've started doing with this Shuffle. The reason I got the Shuffle is I wanted a separate device just for podcasts, because there's a lot of really cool spoken word audio now on the net. Not just my radio show, but a lot of stuff. So I actually use that's what this is for my audiobooks and spoken word, and then my regular iPod I use for music. And that makes it a little bit easier for me. I think that's, I'm flattered, and I'm glad you do listen, Craig, and I'm sorry that this just isn't as fast as you expected.
Oh, well, it's fine. I just thought there might have been a way to get it faster.
I think that's, if it's on the USB 2 connector, I think that you're getting the max it can do.
Well, thank you, Leo.
Thanks for the call, Craig. It's great to talk to you.
You too.
Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
You can give this back to Ed in the mailroom, okay? We're going to get him a new one of those, too.
I know, that's what I said to him.
He's been wearing that one a long time.
Yep.
Are you a Java junkie? Not the programming language, the beverage. Do you get the shakes without your morning cup of joe? Coming up on Call for Help, find out where to hang out online with other coffee crazies as our caffeine-addled show continues right after this. Stay right here, okay? Okay.
Je suis d'accord, petite sœur. Pour réveiller le studio, on a joué les agitateurs. Comme ça n'a pas beaucoup plu, ils ont bouclé les Warner.
These are good. Oh boy. Want to brew a better cup of joe or learn how to make a frothier frappuccino? Amber's here to introduce us to the perfect site for the coffee geek in you.
All right, yeah.
Meanwhile, we're going to have coffee.
I know. I've had way too many of those, so I can't eat anymore.
This is like mainlining.
It really is.
Yeah.
Chocolate and espresso beans, and we're all pretty much. I'm just going to hold still here. So the site is called CoffeeGeek.com, and it's a place where anyone who loves coffee can go and find everything they would ever want to know about coffee, and they can sign up and be part of the community and share their coffee tips. There's people who work at Starbucks who share all these secret tips about the coffee that they make and things like that. So
like what? Well, I know some Starbucks
well,
tips.
there's actually a secret Starbucks menu item, and yeah, there's a site dedicated just to those items. Like one of them is the misto, and what that is it's something that's not on the menu when you go in there.
But you can get it if you ask for it.
But you can get it if you ask for it, and there's actually a site dedicated just to that. But this is the kind of place, CoffeeGeek.com, that you can go to and you can find out about all these things. I'm a bit of a coffee junkie, so.
You know, I have to say, the ritual aspect of it is like any other drug use. I mean, when they say junkie, they mean it.
Yeah, they definitely do. And I actually found an article on here that said that coffee's not that bad for you. So that's
caffeine's okay?
Yeah, it said caffeine's okay.
It's been consumed for millions of years.
Exactly. Okay, to start out with, one thing they offer is reviews of different coffee makers.
So is arsenic, but that's...
Yeah, exactly. And espresso makers. So you can go on and you can read about all these different... Look, this is a first look at one of the new espresso makers that's come out. And I know, so they have pretty much everything. So if you're in the market to buy a new espresso maker or coffee maker, you can come... I'm talking really fast because of the espresso beans. But you can come here and you can get all the information you would ever want to know about these.
Are there links on there to 12-step groups for people who have problems with
I know, there should be.
compulsive coffee use?
There definitely should be. So that's one of the neat features that they have. And also with, I know, the milk frothing guide. This is another thing that's really neat, is it talks about milk frothing and how to get the perfect milk in your latte. I know, there's literally everything. I've been kind of addicted to this.
Obsessive.
I know. And then the best thing is the Latte Art guide. So this is how when you go to order a coffee in a nice little cafe, you notice it has all these beautiful patterns. So if you look on the right here, it has this beautiful little pattern. Yeah, it's kind of complicated. So they have this long guide that explains it in detail about how you get it to be perfect.
You know, I used to be one of you.
Coffee junkie.
I actually studied how to make espressos at the world-famous Cafe Trieste in San Francisco.
Oh, I've been there.
Oh, it's the most famous espresso bar in the world.
Oh, that's really neat.
Or at least in the States.
What happened?
What happened?
Yes.
Well, I got out of control. I lost control. I had to give it up.
You just became a coffee junkie.
I became a coffee junkie. My life became unmanageable. I was powerless over my addiction to caffeine.
You're scaring me, Leo. Okay, well maybe you should have come here and you shouldn't eat any more
of this. Beans now.
Okay, so this is also...
This isn't coffee, it's just a bean.
Yeah, exactly. This is the message boards that they have, and some people have posted their artwork in their coffee. So this is kind of neat. This is their first latte art.
How did I want to do that?
I know, it's really cool. We should try to do it on one of the shows.
They must use a toothpick or something. Huh?
Yeah, a toothpick to kind of swirl it around, swish it around. So you know how they pour a bit of they put a bit of the foam milk on top of the coffee and they swish it around so you can make all these different patterns. But as you can see here with this one, they've added some cinnamon on the side.
I'm sorry, throw that person out.
You don't like that one.
I'm a purist. No.
Yeah, so, and then this person's
his name.
Some kind of tree or something like that.
Oh, I thought it was his name.
Yeah, I don't know. Or it looks like a fish. It's really hard to tell.
It's not the best job.
It's not the best job. So you can go into the message boards and see all these other people who are huge coffee enthusiasts who have shared some of their tips about how to make the perfect cup of coffee. And also there's an espresso glossary. So if you want to know anything, I know there's so much information here about coffee, but there are people who drink coffee are usually diehard coffee drinkers.
Oh yeah, I can understand that.
Oh, definitely. So you can go in, and if you go in, you wonder, hey, I don't want to ask someone what a latte is. You can find out exactly what it is. Popular beverage in America, and there's all this different information about all these different coffee drinks. So, because sometimes when you go into coffee stores these days, I find it sort of overwhelming because there's all these different options. There's
I have a half decaf,
exactly,
mocha frappuccino with a twist.
For sure, and cappuccinos and mochas and lattes, and you don't know what you can't just get a regular cup of coffee anymore. So this is a fun resource.
If you say it in the wrong order at Starbucks, they correct you.
Oh yeah, they
if
definitely.
If you say, can I have a cafe macchiato grande decaf? They say, let me grande decaf cafe macchiato.
Yeah, I know, and they make you feel really stupid. I know. It's
set aside first. Don't you know that?
I know, it's kind of intimidating to go in there. Anyway, so this is just a great resource for anyone who has an obsession with coffee and has some time to kill.
What's the most you've ever spent on a coffee maker?
You know what? Probably $200, I would say. I bought one of the new Starbucks coffee makers that's all stainless steel, so the coffee stays really hot in the pot. Yeah, I'm a bit of a...
the most you've ever spent on a coffee maker?
$325.
Oh, you guys are all amateurs.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah,
it's spend a lot more.
I bet. Leo, you haven't told us yours. Wait, nice try.
No. I've given all that up for more Java. But let's just put it this way: lots of chrome and dials. And,
oh, nice.
For more Java info, visit callforhelptv.com. Before you take off to try out your next brew, though, we've got a quiz question for you. It does make you impatient. I found it. What's our question of the day? Well, how about this? When was the very first photograph taken? We're going to include the daguerreotypes and that kind of thing. The very first, all right, the very first photograph. Was it 1826, 1902, March 21st, 1801, or July 20th, 1969? Now, that was a good day. I like that day. Go to the website, give us the answer. Wasn't that Woodstock? Something like that. We'll talk about it when Call for Help continues. You stay right here.
Man, that coffee works.
Welcome back to Call for Help. Time for a quick tip of the day. Did you know that you can search safely using Google? All you have to do is open the Google window, type safe search, : and then type the term that you're searching for. And then hit search. And all the websites that come up will all be PG, so there's no adult content on this site. It's really helpful if you have kids and you're teaching them how to search in Google, and you want to make sure that when they're searching that all the information that comes up is all PG and there's nothing you don't want them to see there.
That's a preference too you can set for
a preference as well. So you can do it with the preference, and you can also check out the Google cheat sheet and get more information about safe searching on there. And now we have another caller. We have Gary on the webcam from Edmonton, Alberta.
It's not just for my kids. I turn it on for myself.
Yeah.
I always use safe search all the time. Hey Gary, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Reverend Leo.
Oh, there he is. Are we going to see him? Is he going to come up? Is he going to pop up on the screen? Abracadabra! Yay! How are you, Gary?
Not too bad. How's Reverend Leo today and your parishioners, Amber and Andy?
I don't know if they're my parishioners. They're more like my altar boy and girl.
Yeah.
And how are you today?
I've been watching you guys since 1989.
Wow.
On and off, and I really became a big fan of Call for Help.
Thank you.
Actually, with Chris Perello.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I didn't notice you guys before when Kate was on, but I've heard lots about her, and I've been a big fan of yours on the screensavers, and I've learned so much from you guys.
Thanks,
I'm so
Gary.
happy to be on here.
Well, it's so great to have you, and I see you're a Mac user.
Always.
I'm very happy about that.
Except for my financial stuff, which is there's just too much out there on the PC that
I know.
I'm just too entrenched, but I'm working on it.
Well, I think a lot of us use both because there are some things the PC's better at and some things the Mac's better at. But I have to say, I love the lack of viruses and spyware on the Mac side. It's just so much easier to not have to worry about that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, what can I do for you today?
Well, I'm having a problem with Word, and it's not consistent across all my computers, but what happens is when I edit a document and I type a word, or even if I click on a word or click in front of a word, it changes to New Times Roman. Doesn't matter what my heading is or style or whatever. It always changes to New Times Roman.
I hate that.
And I found out, talking to people, that this is not uncommon.
No, it's not. Sometimes Word is a little too smart for its own darn good. Should I show you this on the Mac or Windows?
Well, Mac, I guess. That's where I do most of my word editing.
It's the same in both, and that's one of the nice things, by the way, about Office. They're a little out of sync. We're now on the Mac side at Office 2004, and we're still on the PC side in 2003. But they're very, very, very similar. And in fact, what I'm going to show you is the same for both. So
okay.
You got to go to Tools and Autocorrect. I'm expecting. Actually, let me give you an example. I'm here typing in my thing, and I hit Return, and it's already it's formatted this next thing, but it does have a little icon, and you might notice that little icon for the autocorrect options, and that's where we want to go. It's autocorrect that's messing this up, and I can change my autocorrect options. I could either do it from this pop-up menu. That's a Mac specific thing. Let me show you how to do it on all computers, which is to go to the Tools menu, which is up at the top here. So and Tools and Autocorrect. Now I'm going to guess that this is what the issue is. There is a section in the autocorrect, auto format as you type. And this is this has all sorts of checkboxes of the things that it will automatically format. And so you can turn off, I don't want you to automatically do headings or bulleted lists or numbered lists or borders or tables. Now, it shouldn't, you know, here it is automatically type format, beginning of list item like the one before it, define styles based on your formatting, et cetera, et cetera. You can uncheck all of these, okay? There's also auto format, but that's after you're finished. It has auto formatting. I think what's going on is auto format as you type. Now,
yeah, because I'm looking at the options here where it's auto format as you type.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things I hadn't found yet.
Yeah, I would uncheck those. Now, there's one other thing that you should be aware of. The formatting in Word is stored in the paragraph marker. And what can happen is you have invisible paragraph markers hanging around.
Right.
And it will see it, you won't see it, and it will adopt a new format kind of at what seems like randomly. So I might be in here typing away in Georgia, for instance, and then all of a sudden it starts doing Times New Roman. It's because it saw a paragraph marker and it started to adopt that. So one way to see that is to show hide invisibles. That's that paragraph thing in the toolbar, and then you'll see the paragraph markers. And if you select the paragraph marker, you can see what the formatting is in the paragraph marker, and that will tell you something about what's going on. In fact, you may say, oh, I see the problem. Now, if you always use a particular font, and you don't want it to ever be Times New Roman, let's say you always want it to be Georgia, you can make that your default font, and that might be another way to solve this.
Well, I've gone in and I've changed the styles, and I've changed the default.
And still doing it.
And it just will not stay away from that New Times Roman.
I'm guessing that it's it's either this auto format as you type or a stray paragraph marker that's in there that you're picking up. So the best thing to do is turn on invisibles and get rid of those extra paragraph markers.
Yeah, because I found it's consistent with every single document I open up.
Well, it's probably in the normal template.
Okay.
So what you want to do is open the normal template, which is normal ... So if you go to Word templates, you want to open the normal ... template and then modify that one, because I bet you that's what's happening. You probably have a normal template that has a bunch of stray paragraph markers with Times New Roman in it, right?
Okay.
And then so you create a new document. You're typing along in whatever your Verdana or Arial or whatever your normal font is, but if you cross that paragraph marker, all of a sudden you'll be typing in Times New Roman.
Well, I found like if I bring it up on my PowerBook, I don't have that problem. It's just on my G5 where I do majority of my editing that things go crazy on me. And
yeah, that would make sense because you perhaps didn't change the normal template on the PowerBook, but you did on the G5, or perhaps you've got this auto format turned on one and not in the other. But those are the areas I'd look. I'd check the auto formatting. That's in the Tools menu, and I would under Autocorrect, and I would also, I think, hearing what you're describing, it shouldn't change just the default font. That's not an available option in the auto format as you type. Only headings, borders, tables, that kind of thing. If it's changing just regular text, I can guarantee you it's a stray paragraph marker that you're crossing, and it suddenly says, "Oh, I see it," and it's picking up that formatting from what's invisible to you, but what it can see.
Or would that also happen, like if I click anywhere in a sentence or whatever, and click right in front or on top of a word?
That's weird.
It changes automatically. It just bangs. It goes to New Times Roman.
That might be an autocorrect or an auto format feature then.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's really interesting.
So it could be a combination thereof.
Yeah, I mean your settings, it sounds like there's something going on in those settings. That's interesting. So you're in a Word and you just start typing and all of a sudden the whole word changes.
I don't even have to type. I just have to click before, like right in front of the letter, or on the word, and it just bangs. It goes right to New Times Roman.
Well, I would also then look in the same area under Tools Autocorrect, look at the Autocorrect stuff, because you know that can replace with text formatting. So it may be that you have accidentally, and by the way, it's very easy to do this accidentally, added an autocorrection for, let's say, a space that automatically replaces it with Times New Roman or something weird like that. That's all I could think of, and that's a very strange behavior. And the fact that it's on some machines and not others kind of indicates there's something going on in the settings.
Yeah, so the preferences are goofy like that.
Yeah, that's what I would guess.
It's been going on for a couple of months now, and it's driving me nuts.
Has not happened to me, but you say it's happened to other people. I would say look in the autocorrect and see if there's a replacement with formatted text somewhere in there. It shouldn't be formatted. You know, if you're replacing with formatted text, I mean that's a nice feature. You know, you could have every time you type Gary, it does it in, Comic Sans. But maybe you don't want that.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can see I could choose formatted text if I want, but I don't have to. So I think it's got to be something like that.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Could I ask one little favor?
Certainly, Gary.
Amber, actually.
All right, Amber's listening.
If I could have her check out just quickly my website and have her give her quick opinion on what she thinks.
Well, I don't know if we have time to do it right now, but give us the URL. We'll take a look.
Okay, it's www.thumbprints, THUMBPRINTS, .ca.
Okay.
Thumbprint stuff. What kind of stuff do you do?
Well, I do a lot of film transfers, like old 8mm, Super 8.
Oh, you're a good person to know, Gary, because we get that question all the time.
Yeah, well, a couple months ago, I heard a guy called in. It's from south of Calgary.
Right.
And he was saying that the people he called were quoting him $100 for a little 3-inch reel. I'm sitting there going, holy cow, you're getting ripped off big time.
How much do you charge?
Well, it's about $5.
Oh, that's a big difference.
So, and then, if the people want to go to DVD, it's an extra $20 for 2 hours. So
that's great.
It's really quite affordable.
How do you do the transfer? Do you have a telekinney or something to?
Yeah, I have it's a custom-made unit where I actually do frame-by-frame captures directly into a computer.
Oh, neat.
And then in the computer, I compile everything together so that it's all nice and smooth.
So you're are you scanning each frame?
Exactly.
Oh, you must get good results that way.
Oh, it's amazing. It's full not HD, but 720 by 480 resolution.
Oh, that's
so
neat.
it's broadcast quality.
Wow, that's great.
And because I do all my editing in Final Cut, so I can do little color corrections and stuff like that too when necessary. And it's pretty fast, and people love it.
We're going to make a link on our show notes for that one, thumbprints.ca. And Amber, we'll get you to take a little look.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good to me right now, just off the top of my head.
Well, I tried to, if not, what do you call it? Selectively steal from other people, but
all the best websites.
Totally original these days when you're doing everything yourself.
All the best websites are stolen, Gary.
Yeah.
Hey, I thank you for the call.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Leo.
Have a great day. Take care.
Yeah,
nice to talk to you.
Bye-bye.
Coming up, is your hard drive all filled up? Well, save some space by attaching an extra hard drive to your network. Andy's got the scoop on network attached storage. Next on Call for Help.
I need your team, Dom.
We need full pardons.
And cars. Make sure they're fast.
It's way better than that trash in Rio.
Way better.
Ride or die.
Ride or die.
Welcome back to Call for Help. If you have loads of photos or MP3s, you're probably running out of hard drive space. Who isn't these days? You can never get a big enough hard drive, but there is a solution. Why not add a hard drive on your home network? Just a hard drive, not on a computer. Andy's here to show us a bunch of gadgets called Network Attached Storage, or NAS.
I love network attached storage. Isn't
it's
it
a big
exciting?
thing right now, I think, because people have a lot of media, and they have networks.
See, everybody at home's going, I'm falling asleep.
No,
network attached storage, it's fun.
Oh, you geek. They want to know this stuff, I think. They just don't know they know.
That's right, exactly.
Sometimes they call it a media server. Or
right, media server, network attached storage, whatever it is. It's a hard drive attached to your network.
Right.
Which is cool because all computers can be off. Right? In the house. And then this thing's attached to your network, and then you can walk in with somebody, a stranger can walk in, connect to your network, and then access all your MP3s.
It's always visible. Yeah.
Always visible. And this is really useful, especially in the world where we're having devices now that are playing music wirelessly onto your stereo.
Right.
You don't have to turn all your computers on.
Right.
You just want to access the data.
Well, it's also good for backup. That's how businesses used it for years.
That's right, yeah. Exactly.
Centralized server so that you can all access the same data, that kind of thing.
That's right. So the idea being, though, that you use a hard drive that's standalone. Well, in some cases it's standalone, but it's not attached to a computer.
Right.
So, yeah, but you have lots of options. And I'm going to show you 3 today.
Okay.
And we'll start with the middle one. This is from D-Link. It's basically it's a hard drive storage unit. It's only 40 gigabytes, which is actually, in the hard drive world today, it's very, very small. Yeah. And this is going to run you $340 US.
Now, we were thinking this is probably a laptop drive because it's pretty lightweight. Yeah. That might explain the expense and the size. Yeah. This is the D-Link.
This is the D-Link, so it's right.
Yeah.
So it kind of looks like your router.
It is. In fact, it goes with the router, right?
And it plugs into the router. But the irony being this, it's $340 US, and then this thing is, what is it, 50, 60 bucks, whatever?
Right.
It doesn't quite make sense. I think
so this has no network it doesn't
capability.
Okay.
No. But it
needs a router.
It does need a router, so you plug it in as you would any other device.
It's just basically a hard drive with an Ethernet port.
That's exactly.
External hard drive.
Exactly. I think this is in mid-product cycle right now. I think you'll probably see a bigger, larger, cheaper drive come out from them pretty soon.
Yeah, because 40 gigs, what's the point?
Right. Doesn't make
any sense.
Now, so what are your options? Well, there's a product here called NetDisk Wireless. Love this thing from Zymeta. Okay. Love it. $300 US. This is a wireless router with a 160 gigabyte hard drive built into it.
Now, I like that. That's enough size. And it's wireless, which is kind of neat. It has the antennas on it, so I don't need to buy a separate router.
Do not, no, exactly. So
also wired.
Also wired too. Easy to configure, and for the most part, and what I really like about it, ironically, it has an on-off switch, which most routers don't have these days. That's the hilarious part.
Yeah.
And so in this particular case, what you do is you install a piece of software on every computer that you want to access it from, and it becomes your F drive.
Oh, so you do need some software.
You need a client, yeah, you need a client software.
That's not always the case. Sometimes you could just see it.
In the case of the D-Link, it
just
has
shows up.
drive share configuration built in, so it just shows up as a
For some reason, they decided to put some software on here.
That's right.
Now, this could be wired, or we have it wired, but it doesn't have to be. It could just be purely wireless.
And in fact, the laptop on the right-hand side there is actually can talk to it wirelessly.
So all of our systems could talk to this if they have the software running. What does the software look like?
Now, the software is just is something called NetDisk Administrator right here, and and a little icon there. I'm going to double-click on it, and we're going to open it.
Hello, NetDisk. Is it in the system tray, maybe?
Yeah, it's in the system tray already. That's why. So basically, you're going to go. You have a couple things, and you can just edit the name of the device. I mean, it's very simple. It really is. It's just a memory resident program.
Just control.
Just a controller.
So then, once we've got this going, what does the drive look like? Can we see the drive?
Yeah. Well, let's switch over to that because. So I'm going to switch over to the NetDisk HD device, and then we're going to go. While it does that, we'll go over here to my computer. And
so eventually, it's going to show up in here as a drive.
Yeah, you'll see it. It'll appear. Let's do this again. Try this again.
It's still trying to connect.
Get. What you'll see is it'll actually appear
right there. Wow.
in here, and it'll show up as your F drive.
That's neat.
When it finally.
Just as if it were a local drive.
Right. Exactly.
And now the speed is Ethernet speed. Is that noticeably slower?
You know what? I mean, yeah, it is. I mean, it is, especially if you're accessing large files.
Right.
But I mean, what I was doing with this one earlier in the week was I was actually playing MP3 files from it. You know, playing music, and you know there was an initial lag before it gets the file, and then there's no problem after that. And the other great thing is you can access from this drive from two machines, two different files simultaneously, and there doesn't seem to be any appreciable lag at all.
Wi-Fi G?
Wi-Fi G.
So that's the faster wireless.
The faster. Now, finally, I want to point out this is IO Gear Boss, the broadband office storage server.
I've always liked IO Gear's switches, so I think this seems pretty robust.
Pretty robust. Kind of marketed as a small business device, but I think, at $450 US, it's kind of homey, it's affordable.
So it's got the Ethernet ports there.
Right.
This would be connected to the network.
That's right. Now, it has a 200 gigabyte, comes in 200 and 120 gigabyte versions as far as a hard drive storage goes inside. It comes, what I love about it, especially from the geeks out there, is it has an FTP server built in.
Oh, neat.
So you could actually have that hard drive, put all your FTP stuff on, and actually serve it out to your buddies out there.
That's kind of cool because you don't have to then expose a real computer to the internet. You could make a DNS this one, and they would be able to FTP stuff to you.
And has VPN built in. So
I like that. That's the business class.
That's the business class end of that. So really, I mean, nice, robust piece of gear here. All the features you want, except wireless. I think they should have put wireless in, and maybe they're going to work on a version of a wireless.
So let me get this straight. If I put this on my router, put it on my network, I probably have to put it in a DNS.
Yes.
It is a router.
It is a router.
So just replace the router with this.
That's right.
So then it is outside public. And then I could VPN to this from, say, a coffee shop or whatever, and I would have completely encrypted, protected access.
So like all your PowerPoint presentations are sitting on here, and you're off at a coffee shop.
You can always get it.
Go get it.
That's a tempting product.
That is a tempting product.
So it replaces your regular broadband router?
That's correct. That's correct. I mean, and then if you want to make it wireless, then you'd have to add an access point after the fact.
Right. But I do that already, actually. I mean, that's yeah. I mean, I have an old Linksys router, which is put a Wi-Fi router after that.
IOgear.com. It's called the BOSS, Broadband Office Storage server. Yeah.
So there's some neat ideas. I've recommended this Zymeta before. I think this is probably the best low-cost solution for homes.
It is, and they have various solutions. They have the hard drive only. They have the non-wireless version. They have the wireless version. Check it out. It's ximeta.com.
That's it. Network addressable or attachable storage. The ability to have a hard drive on your system that everybody can get to. Now, if you'd like Andy to do a roundup about a product you're interested in, send your request, Andy@callforhelptv.com. Don't forget, for more information about these products, our show notes are on Call for Help's website, callforhelptv.com. And while you're there, check your tech knowledge, if you can, with today's quiz question of the day. When was the first photograph taken? Was it around 1826, before 1902, March 21st, 1801, or July 20th, 1969? I was trying to remember that date. I knew I remembered it from somewhere. Mikey, tell me that's the lunar landing, the first walk on the moon. Ah, yes. We'll be right back with the answer right after this. Welcome back to Call for Help. Before the break, we asked you when the first photograph was taken. Now, Mikey, are you talking a daguerreotype, silver halide, just anything that stopped time, right? But around 1826, before 1902, March 21st, 1801. I'm going to say that. March 21st, 1801. No, that's too far ago. Has to be 1820s. 1826. That's a long time ago. Was it it was a picture of a Parisian street, as I remember. Am I right? Yeah. Amazing.
It was a picture of porn?
No, that was 1827. Hope you got that right. If you did, congratulations. You're a smart person. Are you dependent on your tech? And now it seems like all hope is lost. Well, we're not clowning around here, despite appearances. I vow to take that frown and turn it upside down for you. So let's reach out and help another caller. Amber, I have a feeling we got a caller on the line.
We do. We have Jim on the line from Milton, Ontario.
Hello, Jim.
Hello, Leo.
Welcome to the show, sir.
Well, thank you, and welcome to Canada. I've really enjoyed your show with Amber and Andy.
Thank you.
And I want to tell you, I've been watching your show since the days of ZDTV.
Wow.
On C-band.
Thank you.
You're the most regular program I ever watch.
Well, we are regular.
Yes.
But we think it's because of the coffee beans, but we're not sure.
It's a Starbucks.
What can I do for you, Jim?
Well, with a lot of new computers and that, and since XP, you don't get a copy of the Windows XP if you want to reinstall or anything like that.
Yes.
And what I was wondering is if you started in safe mode and then copied all your Windows files onto either a DVD or an external hard drive, could that be used for a reinstall?
No. Unfortunately, the files in the Windows folder are not sufficient. The install does so much more, and there are files all over the place. It would not be able to recreate a Windows install from anything on your hard drive. Did you get any disks at all with your computer?
It's an IBM computer, and I just got their
System
IBM
Restore
installs, and when I got the computer, it's 2.5 years old. I called and asked them for the disk, and they said that they don't give them out anymore.
You know why? Microsoft charges less to OEMs who don't ship Windows disks because Microsoft's so paranoid about piracy that they don't charge as much because they really want to encourage this kind of behavior. I think it stinks.
Well, it does, because I even called Microsoft after that, and I bounced back and forth between you talk to IBM, IBM tells me to talk to Microsoft, but...
No, well, I can tell you, they're wasting your time. They should just say no.
Okay.
Because the answer is no. Now, you can make an image of your setup. That's basically what the IBM disks are, is a system restore that will put it all back. That's as close as you're going to get to a Windows install. What you could do is do that, tweak it, do all the updates, uninstall stuff you don't want, and then make an image of that installation. And that would be better than an install in some ways, because if you lost your drive, all you have to do is stick the disk in, and about 5 minutes later it's restored. That's what we do here.
Okay, because I remember you mentioning on your show that every once in a while you do a reformat and
that's how we do
and
it.
everything, and I thought I might want to do that sometime.
Yeah, well, that's how we do it. In fact, that's what the System Restore does. The problem with the IBM System Restore disks you've got is that takes you right back to the day you bought the machine.
That's what I didn't want to do.
And you don't want to do that. I understand that.
Yeah.
So what I would suggest, first of all, don't worry about it right now because everything's running fine. At the point when you need to, back up your data, do the System Restore, do the updates, then make an image of that kind of new System Restore set up the way you want it. And that's just really the equivalent of what IBM gave you, only updated. And that's about it. You're really out of luck. There's no way, unless they give you a program to create the Windows install disk. Sometimes they do that. But if you don't have that, there's no way to make a Windows install disk from what you've got. And that's how Microsoft wanted it, because otherwise they're afraid you're going to be a thief. And that makes me mad.
Well,
makes me mad. I tell everybody,
so good. I've never had a problem with this machine.
In that case, just don't worry about it. But I would say, whenever you're buying a computer, one of the main things to say is, do I get a full Windows install disk? And if you don't buy that computer.
Okay.
All right, Jim?
Do you know of which companies and which
many companies do.
For giving discs?
Yeah, Dell does. A lot of companies do now.
Okay.
And again, don't worry about it, because everything's fine. You have the System Restore. You can reinstall, but there's no way to make that Windows disk now with what you've got.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sounds good, and again, I really enjoy your show. It's helped me a lot.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Take care, Jim. Is there a new baby arriving in your family? Our craft stylist, Julie Stoika, is going to show us how to make a great homemade gift idea for new parents when Call for Help returns. Stay right here. Everyone's had a bead tragedy here. We're all set now. All right. If you like to get creative with your computer, why not use your skills to make a unique gift for someone else? Julie Stoika, our great craft person, is with us today to show us how to make some, I guess, educational mobiles for your kids, or just art. Maybe foster learning in a newborn. They say that, don't they?
Yeah, they do. I actually talked to someone over at Learning Curve International, which has the Lamaze line, and they recommended geometric patterns, something that newborns can look at, and they absorb and they learn through that. So it's a way to start your kids off on the right foot from the very get-go.
We made black and, or not made, we bought black and white ones because they said they don't see color very well.
Yeah, so that is true. That is true. Now, the one thing, the reason why I've done color for this one, let me just untangle this for you, is its dual purpose. The first and foremost, you have the shapes, the geometric shapes. You have them also a bit more three-dimensional.
Yeah, I like that.
But you hang it in the window, and the colors reflect.
Oh, the kids would love that.
Yeah, so it's great for really young kids, for babies, and good for older kids too.
Now, so you did this with a computer printer?
I did.
Inkjet printer?
Yeah, and that's just transparency paper, something like this. Just you print it off. There's the sensing strip right there.
Here, let me just show people what it is. I'm going to put the mobile down now. Step away from the mobile. All right, this is, you buy this in packs, and they call it transparency paper.
Yep. It's
when you say sensing strip, this white strip at the bottom, what do you mean sensing strip?
You know what? I don't know actually what it's for.
The printer won't handle it without that?
It's apparently some way that it will pull it in, but I never pay any attention to how I feed it into my computer.
I'm thinking, I bet a printer is optically looking to see if they see the paper, and so if it doesn't block the light, then it doesn't know there's paper.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know, but they come off quite easily, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not.
And any inkjet printer will work with these?
Yeah, any inkjet printer, but you can feel one side is very smooth and one side is very tacky.
Rough,
yeah, and the rough side is the side that the ink absorbs into.
That's the print side.
That's right.
Okay.
So you just feed it into your printer and print off you know,
have all
either one.
ones.
Yeah, all
now,
sorts
how
of
do we
different
make them
ones.
three-dimensional?
Okay, well, what you do is you print off the transparency twice.
Okay, make two copies.
Make two copies. So if you want to hold those two targets.
Two bullseyes.
Oh, no. I knew it.
So you knew I'd do that, didn't you?
It.
See, a gal will do this. Okay, so the idea here is what? I'm going to cut a little slot?
Yeah, basically what you do
Can I do it?
Absolutely.
I'm so crafty.
I passed you the scissors in the wrong way.
Oh, that's all right.
Okay, you cut it straight up through the center, just over halfway.
Okay, so I want to go a little bit past the center point.
A little bit past the center point.
Oh, boy. Oh, I'm hacking this a little bit. But this is actually the kind of thing, if I could do this, a kid could do this.
Oh,
exactly. It might be a fun project for a big brother or sister to do.
Absolutely.
Do I do the same on the other one?
You do the same on the other one, unless you're dealing with, let's say, the triangular shape. Then you would cut from the top. One from the top, one from the bottom, so that you can slot them together. Yeah.
Okay. All righty. And then I'm just going to slip these in like this.
Yeah.
Oh, pretty.
And they come down and me like that. Perfect. Very good.
Not bad, huh? For a complete geek.
Yeah.
And then, how do we just suspend these from the mobile?
Well, this is where it gets a little tricky.
Oh.
So I don't know if you'll be able to do this, but we can try.
You're the professional.
Yeah. So basically, I've got a 1/8 hole punch, so you can see how small that is. Much smaller than usual.
Oh, okay.
The
I've never
hole
seen
is
one
much smaller.
so small.
Yeah, it's great for something like this, though.
It's okay. This is not for a notebook, though.
No, it's not for a notebook. It's for strictly for crafting.
Okay.
And basically, what you'll do is you'll
punch a hole.
Sure.
In the top one?
In this one, yes. In the top right there would be perfect.
All right. And you got to do it right at the top, otherwise it won't.
Yeah, pretty close to the top. Yeah. And then on this one, you're going to do 2 on either side.
Oh, you're right. It's complicated.
It is complicated. It is a little bit complicated.
Now, where do you get the designs? Did you just make them yourself in Illustrator?
And, well, yes, I did them in Illustrator, but I've also done them in Word before. And you just literally make a circle, make a smaller circle, make a smaller circle.
It's not that hard.
It's really simple.
Geometric's easier, certainly. Yeah.
Absolutely. I've done a couple of other designs, but of course they don't work as nicely, and they certainly don't stand out as much as geometric.
Oh, because I was going to do Daddy's profile so the kid would recognize me when I'm away.
Well, you could.
I know him. I recognize him from my mobile. All right, so now, because I've done that, I have 3 holes.
Exactly. And then it's just a simple matter of weaving. What I've taken is fishing line. Okay. Now, I've been told that by my husband, who's a fisherman, that this is not 30-pound test weight. But,
oh, well, don't hang from this, kids.
Apparently, you should only use this for mobile making. So what you want to do is simply take it, double it up. I run a bead through it just so that it will maintain the 3-dimensional shape.
Okay.
And just back and forth.
So the bead is keeping the leaves separated.
That's right. You can see on this one how that works.
So it kind of keeps it open.
Yeah.
Because it can't close because the bead is there.
Yep, and as long as you have enough tension on that line, it will keep it in that 3-dimensional format.
And then you have the 2 coming out, and that would go up to the mobile.
And it goes right up to the mobile, and you can't see it because it's fishing line, and then you attach it. Some people will use wire coat hangers or even plastic coat hangers.
Fine. You just do thin dowels.
Yep, thin dowels. Great. I've notched them slightly, put them together, and wrapped some metal wire around it.
Do you do this kind of thing at home a lot?
Yeah. I do.
It's really cute. I love it. I want to see Julie's house sometime.
No. You have to wade through.
How old are your kids?
I don't have any kids.
You don't have any kids?
No, these things like this go to my nephews and my niece.
But you're ready because boy, when they have kids, you're gonna have mobiles galore.
Yeah, and they'll be making them from birth.
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that a neat project? You can check out. See, inkjet printer. I think the inkjet printer is a key for a lot of this stuff.
Absolutely.
We can print on anything.
Absolutely.
If you want to check out some of Julie's other great projects, you'll find her material online where she writes for Microsoft Home Magazine and, of course, our website, step by step for making your own mobile at callforhelptv.com. Stay here. We'll be right back. Tell you how you could be on this very show after this word. I love that. I think that's really nice. And you know, it wasn't that hard. I was getting it. I could have done it. I got the holes. I was close. Welcome back to Call for Help, where we're just kind of winding down the show in the nick of time because the caffeine is wearing off. And Amber and Andy are about ready for a nap. You get about 1 hour.
I know.
One good hour, and then...
I had energy for about 10 10 and then it kind of faded.
Andy looks like a sleepy pumpkin. Go ahead and do that again. It's the great pumpkin falling asleep. We've got to get him a little mobile to put over his crib, don't you think?
Put him to sleep. Put him into a deep trance.
I see colors. We would love for you to go to our website, callforhelptv.com, and sign up for our newsletter. You can get the show notes delivered directly to your inbox each and every day. Find out what's coming up on future shows and more information about the things we talk about on the show. So all you have to do, it's absolutely free. All you have to do is go to callforhelptv.com. By the way, while you're there, click that link on the left to ask a question. It's the best way to get on. We're getting lots of callers from Australia now. I love that. We'd love to hear from all of you. Callforhelptv.com. On behalf of Amber and Andy, the Orange Boy, I'm Leo Laporte. We thank you so much for joining us. Remember, if you've got a problem with your personal confuser, don't whine, don't moan, don't yelp. Just call for help. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.